coming to you from deep inside the bowels of a great big empty. Get ready for another episode of The Home Defense Show with Skip Coryell.
Hello, American families. Welcome to this week's episode of The Home Defense Show. I'm your host, Skip Coryell. And if you love your family, care about them deeply, and want to learn how to protect them in every facet of your life, then you've come to the right place. We got a great show for you today. This is our Father's Day edition of the Home Defense Show. Personally, I think that a father is pretty darn important when it comes to raising a family and having a happy home. So we're going to be talking about fathers, Father's Day, and the family today. So that's going to be a really, really good time, a good discussion. We will be interviewing my father today. He is Jerome Coryell Jr. Most of you don't know this. My legal name isn't Skip, it's Jerome. I am Jerome Edward Coryell III, and we will be speaking with my own father in segments 2 and 3. All right, what has my week been like? Oh, we had Father's Day yesterday. I got exactly what I wanted. You know, and I think the secret to getting what you want for Father's Day, for your birthday, for Christmas, all that stuff, is you go on Amazon, you find what you want, and then you send that link to your wife and say, this is what I want. Otherwise, when you open up that tie or get that pair of socks or underwear, you deserve it. You should have sent an Amazon link. So that's what I did. That's what I got. I love this thing. Last year, I wanted to go fishing, and I thought I wanted one of those kayaks, right? They're made out of plastic. They're like $150, $200 a piece. Light enough so that I can, carry it around and all that stuff. But the more I got to thinking about it, and watching people use these things, at 61 years old, if I got in one of those kayaks and paddled around for 2 or 3 hours, or just even sat in it for 2 or 3 hours, I would come back a cripple. If I fell out of the darn thing in the water, I wouldn't be able to swim. I'd drown because my back would seize up. I mean, I've had back surgery, ruptured discs, all this stuff. I got to be really careful with my back. And, you have to know your own limitations, right? Clint Eastwood. A man's got to know his limitations. My limitations have to do with my lower back. So I decided, I've seen these floating fishing seats, right? And you blow them up and it looks like a blown up armchair, right? And I thought, that is the ticket. I can't fall out of it. I'm buckled in and I can get cooled off. It's got places for my rods, my reels, my drink, my cup holder, all of that stuff. And I wouldn't mind going out in that thing and just floating around for 2 or 3 hours trying to catch some fish. And if I don't catch any fish, I can read a book. I can go to sleep. It sounds like a really good day to me. So I'm very happy, thankful for my wife and my family for getting that for me. My daughter, Amethyst, my 8-year-old, she got me the most wonderful present. I don't think it cost her anything. When Amethyst gives presents, she makes them, right? So I'm holding in my hand right now. It's a combination ink pen and paintbrush. And what she did was she took a Bic ballpoint pen, with a removable cap, and a paintbrush. She took Scotch tape. She taped the two ends together. So on one end, I have a Bic ballpoint pen. On the other end, I have a paintbrush. So I can either write with it or I can paint with it. But then she took bright neon pink, yellow, green, and purple feathers, and she taped them on the shaft of both of these. So it looks like a giant rainbow-colored feather pen paintbrush. And she gave it to me in a shoebox, and I took a picture of it, of her holding it. I think I'll post a link to that or put it on Facebook or something so you guys can see my present here. And I took it out into my office today, and I was going to use it just so I could tell her I used it because she's going to ask me. And I go to take the cap off the ink pen and realize that it's taped to the pen and the feathers, so I can't take the cap off without doing some surgery. But I will work on that and get that fixed so I can use that. But you know, it's so wonderful being a father. I love being a dad. I love being a grandpa. By the way, my 12th grandchild is on its way. Don't know if it's a boy or girl yet, but you know, there's something special about being a father at 61 years old with little kids. You have a different perspective because I have lived so much life, and I've been a dad in my 20s, I've been a dad in my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, and now my 60s. And some of you might think, you must be crazy as a loon but to inflict that kind of stuff on yourself. True, I am tired a lot, but being a dad of young children in your 60s, I understand that there's a window of opportunity where you can affect your children's lives, where you're creating, you're molding a person. This is going to be an adult someday, a man or a woman. They're going to be a father or a mother, a husband or a wife. And I'm helping to mold them, to shape them. And it's my real legacy. My legacy isn't this radio show. It's not the books that I publish. It's my kids. Because someday the radio show won't exist. The books will go out of print. But my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids, great-great-grandkids, that's really the only legacy that goes on forever. And I just want to make my kids the best people that they can be. I just love them so much. And, hey, that's what the Home Defense Show is all about. I'm defending my home. I'm defending my family. All right. Well, what did we do yesterday for Father's Day? Well, we didn't go to church, primarily because the car broke down. That's another story all in itself. But we had to stay home, so we had our own church service at home. We had some Bible reading, and Sarah played the piano. We sang some hymns, and we even had communion afterwards. That was fun. And then we went ahead and we watched the movie Courageous. If you've read my book, Concealed Carry for Christians, the first chapter is about the movie Courageous. And it's just my favorite movie in the whole world. It's the perfect Father's Day movie. What does it mean to be a father? Watch that movie. And you'll find out. You'll be reminded of all duties and responsibilities and just how important fathers really are. I know in our society today, fatherhood really isn't that important as far as the mainstream culture goes. Boy, you'd think that fathers were just unnecessary. They were like an accessory, right? It's just sad, really sad, the way fatherhood has gone down the tubes lately. But I don't want to get too far into that because I've got some news stuff that I want to get into. And actually, here's a news article that is pertinent to what we're talking about here. I think part of understanding fatherhood, what it is understanding what it isn't. Here's what our culture thinks fatherhood is. The totality of fatherhood. This is from Fox News. The headline reads, Sperminator strikes again. Donor's 50th baby mama is homeless 18-year-old from Harlem. Sad. Very sad. The sperminator strikes again, this time donating his seed to an 18-year-old who lives in an East Harlem shelter. Her daughter, due July 12, will make it number 50 for the serial sperm donor. Is this not a sad reflection of our culture, of our society? Why is this woman, barely a woman, almost a child, living in a homeless shelter, having a baby, going out of her way to have a baby? She can't support herself. She can't support this child. Who's going to support the child? It's you and I, isn't it? That's sad. Very sad. Ari Nagel, the 43-year-old CUNY math professor who donates his sperm to women across the globe for free, has racked up serious spawn this past year. 15 babies since last Father's Day, bringing the grand total to 48. One woman is due to give birth in early July, followed by Kayenja Garrick, who lives in the East River Family Center, a family shelter with a shared bathroom and kitchen. Ari Nagel, a math professor. I flunked algebra 3 times, but I do understand that what you're doing is not helping society, it's hurting society. This woman has no business having a baby. You can't support it. It's kind of odd, because on the one hand, our society encourages killing babies still inside the womb. Millions of them, by the millions. But then we can have this 18-year-old homeless person is lauded for going out of her way to create another person to be on welfare in New York. This is crazy. This is crazy. This is just lunacy. I think it's a nice shelter, he said. It's probably nicer than my apartment, Nagel told the Post, adding that he didn't know how old Garrick was when she reached out to him last August. I never asked her age. I try to help whoever asks, he said. I think Kai is more mature than I was at her age after... Well, that says a lot right there. Okay. Garrick has been on her own for about 2 years after leaving her mother's Jamaica Queens home because we fought a lot. Homeless person having a baby through artificial insemination, and we're going to pay for this. I knew if I could raise my little sister, I can raise my own baby. No, it's not the same. Trust me on that. I'm a father of 7. It's not the same. Jeez. Kayenja and her girlfriend of 3 years, well, that explains why they need the sperm donor, ruled out going to a clinic, chalking it up to hassle and expense. Well, yeah, you're homeless. Slobert, 21, that's her girlfriend, lives in a different Manhattan shelter with her mother and brother. So she lives with another homeless person. We are not setting a good precedent here. This is not a good way to start out your life, folks. She did an online search for free sperm donation and found Nagel. I didn't know what a sperminator is, she said. But after a few Facebook exchanges, Garrick knew he was the one. Oh, my gosh. Oh, online dating, online sperm donation. He didn't ask about anything, she said. It's good not to ask a lot of questions. It's a woman's choice. Don't even get me started on that. They met up in Manhattan Beach last fall where Nagel donated into a cup on the spot. That gives me a visual image I don't want to have there. Oh my gosh. Sad. Sad. Oh my gosh. Garrick hopes to soon score an apartment voucher through her caseworker for her, Katie and Slobert, who has plans to finish high school and one day work in engineering. Now, how are you going to do that? How are you going to go to engineering college? 4 years of college? Let me guess. We're going to pay for that too, right? We're going to pay for that. We're going to pay for everything you ever do for the rest of your life. This is quite a life you're carving out for yourself here, Katie. Nagel is confident Garrick will be a good mom. You don't even know her, Nagel. You squirted sperm into a cup and you handed it to her. That's all you know. My 18 was different than hers. People mature at different ages, but better too young than too old, he said. Okay, and that's what being a father here in 2019, this is fatherhood. You whack off into a cup, you hand it to the would-be mom, and that's fatherhood. And then you walk away. Folks, this is sad. This is sad. This is disgusting. This is the sign of the times. Fathers are more important. They're more important than a Dixie cup. Oh, jeez. Katie says, although I struggle financially, I feel rich with joy and love, and am so blessed to be a part of so many wonderful families. You don't even know what a family is. Your own family was dysfunctional. You moved away at age 16. You are going to model what you know. And what do you know? You know a dysfunctional family. This is part of the problem, folks. This is why America is all screwed up. We've got 18-year-olds getting a cup of free Dixie sperm and having babies. We are perpetuating the dysfunctionality of our country. The American family. Oh my gosh. Oh, we don't know what families are anymore. That is so sad. Very, very sad. I got to move on to something else. This is disgusting. All right, let's move on to something a little bit happier here. Oh, boy. Well, I'm in the news. I don't see anything happy. All right. Something a little less sad. BearingArms.com. British police handing out blunt knives to reduce stabbings. Okay, so you're going to decrease stabbings by increasing slashings? You can't make this stuff up. The whole world has gone crazy. All right, Skip, don't prejudge, okay? Don't judge. Let's read the article first. Once upon a time, the British Empire was the badass of the world. It could go where it wanted and do pretty much whatever it wanted. True. While the British Empire is often vilified by historians for what it did, at the time, it was somewhat restrained compared to many nations with its colonial holdings, like the Soviet Union. Over the last few decades, though, something happened. Now the country is a caricature. There's remarkably little I can take seriously about the nation of Britain anymore. The latest example of how far the UK is falling, it's handing out blunted knives to the victims of domestic abuse to reduce stabbings. Oh, boy. Victims of domestic violence will have their kitchen knives replaced with blunt utensils to prevent their partners attacking them in their own home. I'm not making this up. I'm reading it. It's true. Nottinghamshire police are piloting the scheme where around 100 no-point knives will be handed to victims who have either been threatened or attacked with a knife. Police are concerned about the high level of knife-related incidents that happen in the home and are hoping the new scheme has the potential to save lives. Domestic violence knife crime makes up more than 17% of incidents reported to Nottinghamshire police. In 2018 and 19, out of 900 reports of knife crime, 159 were related to domestic violence. Superintendent Matt McFarlane, the new Knife Crime Strategy Manager. They have a Knife Crime Strategy Manager for Nottinghamshire Police, who is overseeing the scheme, said, "We do see a fair amount of knife-related incidents and domestic abuse, not just on the streets." Wow. I mean, it's almost like banning guns did nothing to reduce violence. Yeah, who would have thought that, right? You know, folks, it's not a gun problem. It's not a knife problem. It's a heart problem. A heart of humanity. The human race is sick. It is sick. Our culture is sick. People have been killing people since the dawn of time. Since Cain slew Abel, there's been murder. Okay? Whether you use a rock, a knife, a sword, a crossbow, a pistol, a machine gun, a machete, a hand grenade, murder is murder. It's the person. It's not the weapon. Do you understand that? You can't control every dangerous object in the world. In the United Kingdom, you are sad. You are so sad. Your answer is to disarm all of your citizens and leave them defenseless against evil. You all ought to have your asses collectively kicked. You know, isn't that ironic? We're coming up on 4th of July here. England tried to disarm all of our ancestors, didn't they? King George came over here and he said, "We're going to take away your guns." Lexington Concord. You tried to do it, and we kicked your ass. And rightly so. But now there's so many of us here. Young people, up-and-coming liberals, communists, socialists, anarchists. You all want to take away our guns. Well, this is what happens when you take away guns. You get killed with knives. When you take away the knives, you get killed by hammers. You get killed by baseball bats. It's predictable. Don't you see the pattern? You can't have my guns, okay? You can't have them. They're mine. That's why they're called my guns and not your guns. So, England, stay on your island, okay? My gosh, crazy as loons. All right, I'm sorry, folks. I was hoping for something happier there, but there's just nothing happy in the news that I can find. So we'll work on that. Hey, but coming up in segments 2 and 3, we're going to be interviewing my father, my dad. We're going to be talking about Father's Day. What does it mean to be a father? So, my dad, the Korean War combat vet, is going to be talking to us about that in segments 2 and 3. Right now, we've got a 2-minute break. While we are away, go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical. And don't forget, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range at centershotgunrange.com. You got to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range in Dorr, Michigan, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. All right, when we come back again, my dad, Jerome Edward Coryell Jr. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
My name is C.J. Coryell. Welcome to the Home Defense Show with my dad, Skip Coryell. Don't go nowhere. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Would you like to take your tactical and marksmanship training to the next level? If the answer is yes, you need to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range just south of Grand Rapids, conveniently located off US 131. Center Shot is one of the most advanced firing ranges in Michigan. Center Shot firing lanes have nearly 100 customizable shooting programs to make you better no matter what your skill level. Our advanced lanes allow a more immersive training experience to enhance your senses. Controlled lighting and target movement mean that you get the best practice and most fun out of Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Memberships are available for as low as $150. Center Shot also offers a 10% discount to U.S. military veterans. So, no matter what the weather, hot, cold, or in between, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is where I train every week, and so should you. Find out more by going to centershotgunrange.com or call them at 616-371-7468. Stay safe, and I'll see you at Center Shot Indoor Gun Range.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom.
Well, okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Today we are talking about Father's Day. We're talking about fathers, having a good time with that. And we have the utmost pleasure, and it's an honor for me to welcome to the Home Defense Show my dad, Jerome Edward Coryell Jr. Dad, welcome to the Home Defense Show. Dad, you there? Hello? Dad? Oh boy, we've got some technical problems here, I think. Dad, can you hear me now? Hello? All right, we'll keep trying to get him back on the line here. Boy, I was really looking forward to this too. Don't worry, we'll get this done. My father, he grew up in a little teeny tiny town called Orangeville, just like I did, farming community. And he joined the Air Force and fought during the Korean conflict. They call that a conflict. It was a war. People died there fighting. He was wounded, got the Purple Heart. His job was electronics counter-espionage. And basically what that meant is they would parachute him in behind enemy lines, and he would try to blow up radar installations. But he saw combat there and served his country well, and then came home and, hey, had my sister, had me. We had 7 kids all total in my family when we were growing up. Do we have him back on the line? Okay, let's try this again. All right, this is my dad, Jerome Edward Coryell Jr. Dad, welcome to the Home Defense Show. Dad, are you there? Oh, boy. Hey, I apologize. I'm sorry. Mr. Producer, see if you can get him back on the line there. And let me move on to something else here. There we go. You know what? I have a lot of writing that I haven't published yet. I've been working on my life story, and, while we're waiting to get my dad back on the line here, I've got this chapter called Dead and Dying Sedgegrass. I don't believe I've published it anywhere else before, saving it for my autobiography. I'm going to wait till like a month before I die, then I'll go ahead and publish that. There's a lot of secrets in there I don't want to have to live with. Anyways, I'll just read this while we're trying to get my dad back on the line here. Dead and dying sedge grass. Despite all the problems I'd had with my father, I still love him deeply, and when I visit him, as I sometimes do, I have nothing but positive feelings for him. However, I didn't talk much to my father after moving away to college and then graduating and then starting a family of my own. I held a grudge, and we seldom talked. I still wanted a good relationship with him, but I was never able to make the first move. Then one day, I finally decided to confront him concerning all the things he had done to me while I was a child. That meeting changed my life for the better and charted a new course for the rest of my life. I'll always remember that night. It was late September in Michigan, and the harvest smells were all around my boyhood home. The smells of dead and dying weeds, goldenrod and sedge grass, they permeated the night air and helped to set the stage for the coming showdown. I still remember the way the grasshoppers jumped up and away from me, like two waves parting, as I walked from the car through the grass to the house to talk to my father. Once inside, all the old memories flooded back in on me. The kitchen was in disarray. The dining room table was cluttered with stacks of books, papers, dishes, mason jars filled with freshly canned tomatoes. I felt as if I was still a child, but I pushed the errant feelings back and plodded onward. What I said went something like this. Dad, I just want you to know that I love you very much, but there are some things that I have to tell you that we need to talk about. From there, I went on to tell him specific things that he had done that had hurt me deeply. I told him about his mistakes, his poor judgment, and his shortcomings. Halfway through my speech, my battle-hardened father broke down and wept uncontrollably. I remember that he was sitting down in a chair and that I was standing. He wore a white t-shirt, like he often did, and he reached his arms out to me, and I went to him. I bent down and held my father as he lay his head on my shoulder and cried. His tears soaked my shirt, and I cried as well. I remember vividly the way his muscular body heaved up and down on my shoulder as he wept. It made me feel good, because for the first time in my life I knew that my father, with all his flaws, loved me as much as any father ever did. I felt loved, and I felt accepted. After the crying was over, we sat and talked for a while about repairing our relationship and about the things that we would do together in the future as a father and son. I left that night with a light heart full of hope and promise. I will remember that night for the rest of my life. The next time I saw my father, 3 weeks later, he was lying in a coffin, eyes closed, resting soundly. He had died alone and unexpectedly of a blood clot. That last conversation with my father was probably one of the most important conversations of my life, and his as well. It allowed him to die as a forgiven father, and it allowed me to live on, feeling loved and accepted by the most important man in my life. Like I said before, I still visit my father, and we talk more now than we ever did when he was alive. Some would say that this is a sad story, but not for me. My father could have lived another 100 years, and a more poignant or profound and loving ending could never have been written. The way I see things, in my simple country way of viewing life, it just don't get no better than this. And for that, I thank God, my Heavenly Father. Well, okay. I guess my dad won't be joining us for the show today. But I knew that in advance, didn't I? The producer won't be getting him on the line. Why did I read that? Well, most of you still have your fathers. And I just want to underscore the importance of having a good relationship with your father. For most of my life, I didn't have a good relationship with my dad. You know, we would get so mad at each other. And I would do stupid things, and he would yell at me. And, you know, he would be mean, and then I would leave and not talk to him for a while. But you know what? There's something about a bond between a father and a child. It's important. It doesn't matter what our weird, messed up culture says about fatherhood. They're idiots. It doesn't matter what they say. It doesn't matter what they think. It doesn't matter what they believe. For centuries, For millennia, for thousands and thousands of years, fathers have been important, just like mothers have been important. It takes two parents, a man and a woman, a husband and a wife, a father and a mother. That was God's plan from the very beginning. And when we follow that plan, we have a healthy, happy, thriving civilization. When we don't, everything goes to hell in a handbasket, doesn't it? The whole world gets upside down. And people get lonely, they get scared, they get angry, they get mean, they get violent. If you don't have a good relationship with your father right now, man, go ahead and pause this podcast, get on the phone, or write a letter. It's never too late to set it right. If you can't bring yourself to do that, or they're a violent person, or you don't even know who they are, sit down and talk to God. Forgive your father. Not for him, but for you. You need that. You need that closure. You need that peace in your heart. You need to forgive your parents, and you need to move on. If you do that, then you got a shot at joy and happiness in your life. You got a shot at having a happy family, having peace in your heart. You need to do that. Forgiveness is key to emotional health. If you don't do that, it'll eat you up like a cancer. I forgave my father. He forgave me. I was not a perfect child. Don't believe me? Ask my mom, okay? She'll tell you. But I've made my mistakes, and I've made more than my share of mistakes as a father. So, when you have 7 kids, you're going to make mistakes. Trust me on that. So, it's Father's Day. Fathers are important. Incredibly important, folks. Don't believe what society tells you about fatherhood. You're needed. You're necessary. If you're a single dad, you're divorced, maybe you see your kids once a week or once every 2 weeks or even in the summer. You are important to your daughters and your sons. I've been a custodial father. I've been a non-custodial father. I know the pain that you're feeling. I know what it's like to be able to see your kids for 6 months at a time. But don't close yourself off. Don't retreat. Us men like to do that. We don't want to feel pain, so we just back away. If you do that to your kids, you're going to warp them for the rest of their lives. Don't do that. Go against your first instincts as a man and get closer to them. Let them know that you love them. In thought, in word, in deed. Hug them. Go out of your way. Spend as much time as you can with them. I don't care what the situation is. I don't care. Because you're a father. Your job is to burn yourself out for your family. Use yourself up for your family. If you're an intact family, then adore your wife. Serve your children. Serve your family. If it's a broken family, a broken home, a blended family, whatever it is, I've been in all of them in several different ways. It's more important. You've got to give of yourself. It's altruistic. Sacrifice yourself for your family. That's what we do in self-defense, right? When someone threatens our family, we step in front of the bullet. That's what we do. We return fire. But you can't do that if you're not there. Go ahead. Reach out today. If you don't have custody of your kids, call them. If they don't call you, fine, but you call them. You're not responsible for what they do. You're responsible for what you do. Call your son. Call your daughter. Let them know that they are loved, that you're proud of them. No matter what the situation is, you will be judged by what you do, not by what others do to you. So get that done. It is so important, and it cannot be understated how important fatherhood is to a family, to a culture, to a nation, to a world, to a race of humans. So do that now, and do it every single day of your life. Okay. You know, my dad died back in, 1984, I think. It's been a long time without my dad. He wasn't perfect, but he was my dad. And I miss him. I miss him a lot, even today. All right, I will try and cheer things up in the next segment. I know I can get like this. I can get melancholy. But sometimes it's important to be introspective, to reflect, to ruminate. Because if you don't do that, you will not make yourself a better person. And I want you all to be the best dad, the best husband, the best mom, the best wife that you can possibly be. All right, when we come back, we're going to be talking about Father's Day. Where did it come from? When did this thing start? We've got a 2-minute break. While I'm away, go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical. See how you can protect your family from the criminal justice system. And then also check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com, where it is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is Skip Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
This is Felix Coryell on the Home Defense Show. Always use guns safely and wisely. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if life was like the movies and the good guys always won? In today's world, if you're forced to use your firearm to protect yourself, you will need protection. Firearms Legal Protection is here for you. FLP provides you with seasoned, experienced attorneys that handle your criminal and civil matters as a result of you protecting yourself. FirearmsLegal.com provides its members with uncapped attorney's fees, bail bond protection, and coverage in all 50 states. We are not a reimbursement plan. You can access uncapped attorney's fees for as low as $10 a month. Firearms Legal members are provided with educational services, training videos, and access to our vast national attorney network. While you're protecting yourself, let Firearms Legal protect you.
Listen up, folks. This is important. There are plenty of legal protection services out there, but none will protect you as well as Firearms Legal Protection. This is the one I use and the only one I recommend. Visit firearmslegal.com/Midwest Tactical and protect your family now. Would you like to take your tactical and marksmanship training to the next level? If the answer is yes, you need to check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range just south of Grand Rapids, conveniently located off US 131. Center Shot is one of the most advanced firing ranges in Michigan. Center Shot firing lanes have nearly 100 customizable shooting programs to make you better no matter what your skill level. Our advanced lanes allow a more immersive training experience to enhance your senses. Controlled lighting and target movement mean that you get the best practice and most fun out of Center Shot Indoor Gun Range. Memberships are available for as low as $150. Center Shot also offers a 10% discount to U.S. military veterans. So, no matter what the weather, hot, cold, or in between, Center Shot Indoor Gun Range is always a perfect 70 degrees. This is where I train every week, and so should you. Find out more by going to centershotgunrange.com or call them at 616-371-7468. Stay safe, and I'll see you at Centershot Indoor Gun Range. Hey folks, I want to tell you about my new book, Concealed Carry for Christians. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and your family, and that includes people of faith. Our churches are not as safe as they used to be, and that's why I included chapters on forming church safety teams and stopping mass shooters. You can get Concealed Carry for Christians real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell, Concealed Carry for Christians, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Concealed Carry for Christians by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. Sorry about that last segment. I know it was depressing, but hey, it'll make you a better man, okay? Make you a better dad, so just deal with it. All right, now, let's go ahead and let's check out Father's Day. What exactly is this thing called Father's Day? Where did it come from? Well, I go to my good friend wikipedia.org here, because we are a digital world, and it says, Father's Day is a celebration honoring fathers and celebrating fatherhood, paternal bonds, and the influence of fathers in society. In Catholic countries of Europe, it has been celebrated on March 19, also called St. Joseph's Day, since the Middle Ages. Now, I did not know that. This celebration was brought by the Spanish and Portuguese to Latin America, where March 19 is often still used for it, though many countries in Europe and the Americas have adopted the U.S. date, which is the third Sunday of June. It is celebrated on various days in many parts of the world, most commonly in the months of March, April, and June, according to the home nation's customs. It complements similar celebrations honoring family members such as Mother's Day, Siblings' Day, and Grandparents' Day. In its modern form, it was founded by Sonora Smart Dodd. All right, let's look at the history here, the early history. A customary day for the celebration of fatherhood in Catholic Europe is known to date back to at least 1508. It is observed on March 19 as the feast day of St. Joseph, who is referred to as the fatherly, and then there's something Latin, which means nourisher of the Lord, in Catholicism, and the putative father of Jesus in Southern European tradition. This celebration was brought to the Americas by the Spanish and Portuguese. The Catholic Church actively supported the custom of a celebration of fatherhood on St. Joseph's Day from either the last years of the 14th century or from the early 15th century, apparently on the initiative of the Franciscans. Okay. In the United States, Father's Day was not celebrated in the U.S. outside Catholic traditions until the 20th century. I didn't know that either. As a civic celebration in the U.S., it was inaugurated in the early 20th century to complement Mother's Day by celebrating fathers and male parenting. After Anna Jarvis' successful promotion of Mother's Day in Grafton, West Virginia, the first observance of a day honoring the fathers was held on July 5, 1908 in Fairmont, West Virginia, in the Williams Memorial Methodist Episcopal Church South, now known as Central United Methodist Church. Grace Golden Clayton was mourning the loss of her father when in December 1907, the Monongah mining disaster in nearby Monongah killed 361 men, 250 of them fathers. Wow. Losing 250 fathers in one community in one day, leaving around 1,000 fatherless children. Clayton suggested that her pastor, Robert Thomas Webb, honor all those fathers. Clayton's event did not have repercussions outside Fairmont for several reasons. Among them were the city was overwhelmed by other events, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Failed attempts at establishing a Father's Day. In 1911, Jane Addams proposed that a citywide Father's Day celebration be held in Chicago, but she was turned down. In 1912, a Father's Day celebration was held in Vancouver, Washington, suggested by Methodist pastor J.J. Barringer of the Irvington Methodist Church. Okay, establishment of the holiday. In June 1910, a Father's Day celebration was held at the YMCA in Spokane, Washington by Sonora Smart Dodd. Her father, the Civil War veteran William Jackson Smart, was a single parent who raised his 6 children there. Wow. Tough job, probably tougher than the Civil War for him. She was also a member of Old Centenary Presbyterian Church, where she first proposed the idea. In the 1920s, Dodd stopped promoting the celebration because she was studying at the Art of Institute of Chicago, and it faded into relative obscurity even in Spokane. In the 1930s, Dodd returned to Spokane and started promoting the celebration again, raising awareness and any traditional presents for fathers. Okay. By 1938, she had the help of the Father's Day Council, founded by the New York Associated Menswear Retailers. Americans resisted the holiday for its first few decades, viewing it as nothing more than an attempt by merchants to replicate the commercial success of Mother's Day. Funny how most of our holidays, whether it's Christmas or 4th of July or Halloween, they're all commercial, aren't they? But not for everyone. Well, I will summarize the rest of this here. I believe in 1972 is when it became an official holiday. Richard Nixon signed that. So it took a long time. Wasn't officially recognized till 1972. Whoa. Okay, and that is the history of Father's Day. That's how we got it. It was a slow train coming, but it finally made it. And that's how we got Father's Day. And I'm glad we have it now. Personally, I love my mom, but I think Father's Day is every bit as important as Mother's Day, and fathers need to start recognizing that. You are important, okay? You are. Do your job. Protect your family. Defend your family. Raise your kids. Spend time with your kids. You're not just a meal ticket, okay? You just don't pay the bills and, provide a place to live. You teach your boys how to become men. Whether you realize it or not, you do. You really, really do, because they are watching you. They're either watching your actions, listening to your words, or they're watching your absence. If you're not there, it affects just as profoundly if you're not there. What are you telling your kids when you're not there for them? I don't love you. I don't care about you. You are not worthwhile. You're not worth my time. Be there for them. Work less. Talk more. Love more. Play with them. Find what they're interested in and do that. Okay? I'm not taking Taekwondo classes because I wanted to. I'm taking Taekwondo classes because my 13-year-old son and my 9-year-old son wanted to. And they wanted me to do it with them, and we share that with them every Monday night. And it's turned out to be a really good thing. It's a really good bonding experience for us. And on Tuesday nights, I take my 8-year-old daughter, Amethyst, to gymnastics class. I can't relate to gymnastics. I just can't. But I really enjoy taking her there, watching her there, taking pictures, videos, showing them to her afterwards, and then going out and buying her a pint of orange juice or a pint of chocolate milk or a small fry. That's what dads do. It's not a whole lot different than what moms do. Okay, but you got to be there or you're not going to make the impact. These days, if you haven't done that by age 10, you're going to have trouble because they're already addicted to video games or drugs or their other friends. They get to a certain age and that window of opportunity is over, folks. So dads, make the impact when they're young. Their personality is formed by the time they're like 3 years old. So you stay with them. Whether you're divorced or intact, you stay with them. You gut it out. If it hurts you, suck it up, buttercup. You do what you got to do. You be tough. That's what being a man is, right? You be tough. You be tough, but you be loving. You be firm, but you be comforting. Don't withdraw from your family just because it hurts sometimes, okay? Just do what you got to do because it's the right thing. It's called virtue. It's called honor. It's called integrity. Duty. Do what you have to do. I'm not going to lecture you here, okay? Coming up, we're going to take it up a notch here, and we're going to interview some kids about their dad. And we're just going to get butt ugly honest here, and they're going to tell you what they really think about their dad. All right, we got a 2-minute break here. While we're away, go ahead and check out our sponsors, firearmslegal.com/MidwestTactical, and then also check out Center Shot Indoor Gun Range, centershotgunrange.com, where it's always a perfect 70 degrees. This is Skip Coryell on Home Defense Show. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome to my dad's Home Defense Radio show. You're gonna love it.
Hey folks, I want to tell you about my book, Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and their families. My new book lays it out step by step. It'll teach you how to protect and defend the ones you love. Get the benefit of 19 years of teaching experience and a lifetime of training for this important role in society and in your family. You can get Civilian Combat real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell Civilian Combat, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Civilian Combat, the Concealed Carry Book by yours truly, Skip Coryell.
This is Colonel Danny Gillum. I host Frontlines of Freedom, a weekly syndicated military talk radio show. One of my co-hosts is Skip Coryell, the host of this show. We cover things that impact military and veteran communities, and we do it from the veteran's perspective. The show is broadcast across the nation and is also available as a podcast on our website, frontlinesoffreedom.com. Please join Skip and me weekly on Frontlines of Freedom. Skip, it's time for the Armed America Report. Let's do it this week.
All of us here at Frontlines of Freedom believe strongly in your right to keep and bear arms for protection of yourself and your family. Listen, folks, evil exists. Someday evil will visit your door. Will you be ready? If you're not, now is the time to start looking into it and learning the skills necessary to protect the ones you love. What's the story this week, Colonel?
Soundly asleep in her bedroom in Kansas City, a 74-year-old woman awakened to the sound of a burglar breaking her door open. Startled, the woman grabbed her recently purchased handgun and met the intruder at the top of the stairs, where she took aim and fired a single, fatal shot. EMS arrived on the scene to save the life of the homeowner, who suffered a heart attack after the incident.
Colonel, I love stories like this. Primarily, especially when you've got like a 74-year-old woman, right? I get a lot of elderly people in my class, and elderly to me is anyone who's older than I am. So
careful there, dude.
Well, you know what I mean, Colonel. But, these little old ladies, these grandmas, great grandmas, come out onto the range and they'll be shooting, and a lot of them can only handle a .22 caliber pistol because of the recoil, and they can't rack the slide, all of this stuff. And some other big tough guys, right, will ridicule them. But the truth is, I did the research on this lady. She was shooting a .22 caliber pistol. But, when you shoot them in the head, it doesn't matter how big the bullet is. It really doesn't.
And my wife shoots a .22 mag.
Yes, that's right.
That will do some serious damage.
Definitely. And the bottom line is you shoot the highest caliber that you can safely and accurately control. And if it's a 9mm, fine. If it's a 45, fine. But if it's a .22, that doesn't mean that you just can't go armed. It just means you have to be a better shot. And headshots, that's nothing to scoff at.
Yes, indeed. And I suspect the late burglar, if he were here, would agree with you.
Absolutely, Colonel. Hey, folks, I want to tell you about my new book, Concealed Carry for Christians. More and more people across the country are seeing the dangers in society and are deciding to carry concealed to protect themselves and your family, and that includes people of faith. Our churches are not as safe as they used to be, and that's why I included chapters on forming church safety teams and stopping mass shooters. You can get concealed carry for Christians real easy. Just go to Amazon.com, search on Skip Coryell, Concealed Carry for Christians, and it'll pop right up there. Don't put it off any longer. Get Concealed Carry for Christians by yours truly, Skip Coryell. Okay, folks, welcome back to the Home Defense Show. This is your host, Skip Coryell. We are in segment 4 now, the final segment, the wrap-up. And we have a special treat for you here. We've been talking about fatherhood, about Father's Day, and I brought in some special guests. You'll recall in segment 2, I tried to get my father on the line, and that didn't work out. But I was able to get some kids on the line here. Now, actually, I have my daughter here. This is Amethyst, age 8. Amethyst, welcome to the Home Defense Show.
Hi, Dad.
Well, Amethyst, I appreciate you coming on the show for me today. We just had a very special day just yesterday. What is that day called?
Father's Day.
That's right. Why is Father's Day special?
Because you celebrate your dad.
Oh, you have a dad. What's his name?
Skip.
That wasn't a trick question, honey. Now, you gave me a very special gift yesterday, and I just absolutely loved it. I've got it right here. It is a combination paintbrush and ink pen, and it's got fluffy little pink and purple and neon green feathers. Did you make this yourself, or did you buy it on Amazon?
I made it.
Really? Why did you make me this present?
Because I thought you would like it, and it was Father's Day.
Yes, and I do love it, honey. I love it very, very much, and I'm going to use it, and I'll keep it out here in my office. But, all right, how would you describe your father? This isn't a trick question. You're not going to get in trouble. What do you think of your dad?
Well, let's see here.
You've given this a lot of thought, haven't you? What do you like about me? What do you like doing with me the most?
Well, I like to play doctor with you and play nurse with you and play vet with you.
Play doctor, nurse, and vet.
Yeah.
Are you calling me an animal?
No.
No. Well, you know, I like it when you do all those things too. You and I have a lot of fun, and this is a secret. I won't tell anybody, but you like to be tickled too, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Well, Amethyst, I want to thank you very much for being on the Home Defense Show and giving your very unique perspective on Father's Day.
Thanks, Dad.
All right, you can go back to homeschool now. Love you, honey.
Love you.
All right, who's up next? We're taking them in age. So we had an 8-year-old girl, Amethyst. Now we have a 9-year-old boy, Phoenix. Phoenix, you are a regular guest on the Home Defense Show, but thank you again for being on the Home Defense Show.
You're welcome.
Well, now, Phoenix, we had Father's Day yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Now, tell me about the present you guys got for me.
Well, it was a inflatable floating tube thingy-majiggy.
It was a fishing chair, right?
Yeah.
Dad's going to go fishing in that. You're probably hoping you can sit in it too a little bit?
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I think you probably are. All right. What do you like about your dad?
I like that you let me practice shooting guns sometimes. I like going on errands with you. I like going on trips with you. And speaking of trips, we're about to go on a trip about next week, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep, we're going to Oregon to visit family, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So you like spending time with me?
Mm-hmm.
You know what, Phoenix? I like spending time with you, too. It's one of my favorite things to do in the whole world. And I promise I will try and do a better job of it this year, okay?
Okay.
All right. Give me a hug, son.
Mm.
All right. I love you. All right. Go back and do the homeschool.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. Boy, now we're moving up in the pecking order here. Have a seat on my lap, Sonny.
This is awkward.
Yes, it is awkward. We're here in my recording booth, my studio. I call it Chicken Coop Central here. And we're surrounded by camouflage and padding and all that sound-absorbing material behind a curtain. And my 13-year-old son is sitting on my lap. Now, how often does that happen, son?
Not a lot.
Right, not a lot. Well, Cedar, Father's Day, being a man, what have you learned so far about being a man? What does it mean?
I think being a man requires you to protect the ones you love and do whatever it takes to make your family the best they can be.
Wow. You know, this was not rehearsed. I didn't tell you the questions ahead of time, did I?
I don't think so.
No, I didn't.
I mean, I'm getting older, but I don't think I'm that old yet.
Well, you're 13, and you're taking Taekwondo classes, so you are learning to protect your family, aren't you?
Yes, sir.
Even though you don't have him. Do you have any special girls lined up yet, or is that too early?
I'm not answering that.
Okay. All right, son. All right, well, I promise you I will do a better job as your father this year. I will do my best, and you hold me accountable, because part of being a man is doing the right thing and allowing the people around you to hold you accountable to do the right thing, okay?
All right, you are now doubly accountable.
That's right, that's right. All right, son, you can go back to homeschool. I love you, and I will talk to you later.
All right, can I take a bypass? Can I not go to homeschool?
No, you have to go to homeschool.
Aw.
All right, love you, son.
All right, love you too.
Okay, folks. You notice when you go from 8 years to 9 years to 13 years, there's a big difference, isn't there? I mean, my 13-year-old, he's already figuring it out, and he can communicate it as well. I think a part of him just wants to be a kid, but a part of him is looking forward to becoming an adult. And one of the things that you have to do as a father, you have to help prepare your kids to become adults, because you have been loaned these lives. Okay, they belong to God, and then you're going to turn them out into the world in like 18 years. You're preparing them for the world to withstand, all the craziness that's out there. And you don't have a long time to do it, but you've got long enough. Don't waste any of that time. That's why we homeschool. I don't want to outsource that. I don't want to send them away for 8 hours a day and then have them just for a couple of hours at night. So, if you don't homeschool, think about that. Maximize your time with your kids. All right, yesterday, we watched that movie Courageous by the Kendricks brothers. Just fantastic movie. And in that movie, they take the resolution pledge. I've got my copy of the resolution pledge. It's right here in my hand, and it's signed 3 July 2004. I've signed it, my wife has signed it, and my son Philip has signed it. And it says, I do solemnly resolve before God to take full responsibility for myself, my wife, and my children. That's huge, isn't it, folks? That's a big responsibility. I will love them, protect them, serve them, and teach them the Word of God as the spiritual leader of my home. I know we're not supposed to talk about God, right? This is a godless society, and God is bad. Well, that's crap. God is good, always has been, and I'll be the spiritual leader of my home, and I will teach my family about God. I will be faithful to my wife, to love and honor her, and be willing to lay down my life for her as Jesus Christ did for me. You know, what's that mean, guys? It means you're not going to sleep with other women, right? It means you're not even going to have emotional relationships with other women. If your relationship with your wife isn't right, it's at least half your fault. Get it right. You are pledged to one woman. You can't be a good father without being a good man. If you're a good husband, you're a good man. Do the right thing. Don't sleep around. Go home to your wife. Figure her out and meet her emotional needs. That's probably the hardest thing you'll ever do. I will bless my children and teach them to love God with all their hearts, all their minds, all of their strength. Every day you got to do that. We have devotions every night before bedtime and we talk about it. I will train them to honor authority and live responsibly. I will confront evil, pursue justice, and love mercy. I will pray for others and treat them with kindness, respect, and compassion. I will work diligently to provide for the needs of my family. You know, if every father did that, we wouldn't need welfare. We wouldn't. I will forgive those who have wronged me and reconcile with those I have wronged. Forgive people, folks. I will learn from my mistakes, repent of my sins, and walk with integrity as a man answerable to God. Whether you admit it or not, you are answerable to God, and you will answer. You have an appointment with God. God knows the day, He knows the time, He knows the second. You don't. Be ready. I will seek to honor God, be faithful to His church, obey His word, and do His will. I will courageously work with the strength God provides to fulfill this resolution for the rest of my life and for His glory. Folks, you don't stop being a dad, a mom, after your kids grow up and move away. You know, a lot of us never started being a dad. You didn't even start. You're not doing it right. Okay? It takes work and effort and pain and toil, turmoil. It hurts. But you got to do it anyways. It's so important, folks. It's so important. Listen, take that pledge. All right? Just do a Google search on courageous movie resolution. You can get the text online. You can print it out. Take that pledge in front of your family. Sign it, date it, put it on the wall, just like mine is. Okay? Pledge, resolve yourself to become a better father. You can't become a better father without becoming a better person. You need integrity. You need loyalty. You need self-sacrifice, dignity, respect, kindness, generosity. You want to be a better dad? Become a better human being. You want to be a better mom? Become a better human being. Have a servant's heart. It's about serving, not about getting. All right. You know, we will not have such a heavy podcast next week, but it's important to do some soul searching sometimes, and this was that week. I encourage you to do more of it. Do it on your own. Get on your knees, repent of whatever you've done wrong, and resolve to do a better job with your family in 2019 and 2020. Sorry I went so long this week, but, you know, I just got on a roll. I was in that groove. Well, okay, folks, that about wraps it up for this week's episode of the Home Defense Show. Until next week, remember your purpose in life is to find something greater than yourself and serve it. Always remember, God, family, country, in that order. It's important how you live, but it's equally important how you die. Your family and the ones you love need your protection, so train, always train, stay alert, stay alive. Until next week on the Home Defense Show, this is your host, Skip Coryell. God bless you, God bless your family, and God bless America. I love you, Dad.
Thank you for joining us this week on the Home Defense Show. Now, get out there and protect the ones you love. We'll see you next week with more of the best in home defense.
Bye-bye, boys! Have fun storming the castle!